Welcome to the RDYTC. I'm your host, Paul Essen.
What was that? I'm sorry.
RDYTC,
Right, I
Random
got it. I
Discourse
got it.
YouTube channel.
I'm Andrew Riley. Let's go with that.
I'm Travis Hudson.
You're supposed to say I'm AR and I'm T. No, okay, fine. Uh, so, Travis, people should know by now, but what are we doing today?
Apparently, some of us might have already started, but we're drinking beer for Advent, and we're past the midway point. We're on lucky number 13.
Dry saying.
Juice on. And while you're pulling that out, I should be noted that you may notice that we have a little bit of a different background because, hey, logistically, it's a little hard recording every day for a month straight. But you know what? We're dedicated, and we're going to find a way to make this work. So if the audio quality is a little strange or something like that, or if weird things happen, well, just bear with us. Travis, what beer do we have?
But we're powering through it, just like this guy wants you to do.
Yes.
I want you to join the Navy.
Landgang Brauerei Landgang. Yeah, okay, Landgang and Landgang. It's a Pilsner.
Pills.
I prefer thinking of it as land gang as opposed to like a naval gang or something like that.
Yes.
This is the
Paul's going to be our resident ghost today, so.
I'm going to be Marty McFly, yeah.
This is the Landgang Brauerei Pils. Obviously, the Landgang Brauerei brewed this as a Pils at 5.0%. Landgang Brewery is in Hamburg, Virginia. Hamburg, Virginia.
Hamburg, Virginia.
I'm not even in Virginia, so what am I thinking? Hamburg, Germany. As a Pils, it's going to be fairly light. Got a nice foam to it here tonight. And again, this is our second Pils in our set here, so something that would be pretty typical for an American drinker, but a little bit stronger here at 5% and probably significantly more flavorful and hoppy than the Pils that you're going to see normally on this side.
So Paul is actually drinking out of the, well, he totally disappeared at this point, but now that's closer to what you're supposed to. Actually, if I'd known you were drinking a Pils, I would have got my Pils in a glass. So
I am missing my Stein because I did not pack it. Paul was mentioning that we're doing things in different ways. I am traveling, and so I don't have my normal background. I have a different background, which is not my virtual background. So you see my wonderful hotel room. But
He's recording inside of a shower.
Yeah,
that's
very
also
nice.
that's
very nice shower.
That is an option. I thought about it. I think the audio quality might be a little poor, so instead I'm just doing this to the best of my ability. Like we said, we're
Aren't
powering
showers? Aren't showers supposed to have great acoustics? That's why you sing in the shower.
through. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I don't even have my Stein, so that's just how much things are off here. But let's enjoy our pills, gentlemen.
Kampai.
So then I have to ask: is that a hotel glass that you're drinking out of?
Yes.
I assume if you didn't pack a Stein, you didn't pack another random glass to drink beer out of. So,
Which actually gets me to one of the other points that probably would be worth talking about perhaps later on. But as we brought it up, this is a good time as any. I wouldn't have wanted to pack another glass other than my Stein because you're going to break it. And the Stein, it's pretty solid. It's going to be hard to break the Stein. I thought it would be pretty hard to break cans of beer as well. However, my children were able to prove me wrong. They managed to crush 2 of the cans of beer that I packed for this journey, and so I will not be able to enjoy those beers with us. The 2 beers are the ones that we'd be drinking tomorrow and the day after that. But I do have the beer with me still for after that, and so if I'm continuing with this travel at that point, we still have beer for a couple more days from now.
so I'm curious. Does that mean you drove or fly?
We drove.
So is that what contributed to this crushing of the can? Which I'm very impressed your daughters managed to crush unopened cans of beer.
Yeah, I mean, what seems to have happened is they stepped on the can in a bag that also had electronics in it, and the electronics were sharp enough that it punched through the aluminum with the pressure of the person standing on it. That,
It's gonna be different.
we're powering through for y'all.
That's the alarm indicating we're too far off base.
No, he was. I was legitimately wondering how like children crushed unopened cans of beer.
So I'm disappointed because of the beers we have, these were 2 that looked pretty interesting and I would want to have tried, and I won't be able to now, and it makes it harder for me to join in on the discussion for those as well. So especially since it's difficult to have these conversations while traveling. Perhaps I will not be able to join for those episodes as that would. I can provide some commentary, but it's not quite the same if you're not drinking, right?
I think we're going to require you to be there. You just have to sit there in the corner wearing the cone of shame and just saying nothing.
And
Yes,
this guy's gonna stare at you the entire time.
That seems fair. That is the only way to properly punish spilt beer.
So is this guy? I know you probably aren't nearly as prepared in your research. Is this any sort of real guy or real reference? Just sort of like
The Hussar?
our famous Hussar? Yeah.
Well, what kind of hat is that?
It's a Navy hat.
So, but say it's a sailor hat, right?
Yeah.
A German
I honestly
sailor hat?
don't. Well, in the German tradition, the Navy was a very popular and prestigious position. The German Navy was very strong, and everyone wanted to be in the German Navy before the bad times. You know, if you look at the German history there,
Wait,
it was
Wait,
the place
they
to be.
Aren't there a lot of bad times in German history? To be fair.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
specific bad times were you referring to?
The worst times.
I'm just like, I know Germany has a coastline, but it seems like it's not that big or border. I guess it borders Viking country. So I guess you gotta have a pretty strong navy for Vikings.
This was much later. I mean, when you talk about Germany,
Obviously.
there's not really even a Germany until pretty modern history. And the German Navy was primarily a response to English power because it was like a rivalry between cousins kind of thing. My cousin can't have a bigger navy than me.
Who could take over France first?
You know, yeah, Germany didn't need a navy to take over France. It needed a navy to keep Britain away from France.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, actually, we've been talking. My kids, my eldest in particular, seems to have an interest in the world wars or in history in general, and so she's sometimes will ask me like, "Tell me about World War I," and I'll have to start off with like, "Well, you have to understand that all the rulers of Europe are related, and they all kind of hate each other, so you go from there." So yeah, we've covered that.
And then we played a game called Diplomacy, and we all hated each other after that.
And all the friends hate each other.
Because Diplomacy is World War One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it's 1900. It's pre-World War One.
Oh, okay.
The setup is that each turn is one half of a year, so spring or fall of the first year. The first year is 1900, but the world map layout is closer to World War I than World War II.
It involves the major powers as they existed in World War One.
Okay. Yeah, we had a map. I don't even know where it came from. I think it came on some National Geographic when we were cleaning out some stuff. And I was like, this map has the Soviet Union on it. We can get rid of this map.
No, don't do that. I was cleaning up
You're
my
too
office. No.
Okay, but what? I
I
can
was
sell
cleaning,
it?
maybe, but I mean, it's also cool. Old maps are cool. I was cleaning up my office, and I found an Associated Press official world map, copyright 1978. So not even as old as yours was, probably, but the USSR was still on it, which was not the first discrepancy that I spotted for whatever reason. It's like probably the biggest one, but I was like, East and West Germany was the first one I spotted, but I spent some time looking for other things. But down at the bottom of the map, not where anything in terms of the world map was, but additional pieces of information. Here's temperates and climates and religions of the world. So this religion has predominance in these sections of the world, but they also had racial information. It's like, ooh, that's not going to get printed anymore, and that is what makes it interesting.
Ooh, what kind of racial information?
So it defined the 4 races of humanity.
Ooh, is it like the Caucasoid and the
Wait, is that real?
Mongoloid?
Caucasoid?
Yep.
Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid, and what's the other one?
Oh, okay.
You nailed the main 3, but there was a 4th one that was like a subcategory of one of those. I don't remember.
Okay.
Wait, what were the 3 you said? Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and
Negroid.
Okay, I was gonna say Negroid. Yeah, I mean that's where
Asian.
that branch of words comes from. So,
So anyway, like I said, 1978 that got published. You're not going to see that anymore.
so I do at somewhere in my parents' house there is a globe that will still have the USSR on it, and it's also like it's textured. I have no idea if it's actually an actual topographical globe, but it does have like some bumpy sections on it, and it's not just because it's an old globe that's warped. It's always been that way.
It's like, this place is more mountainous, so we're going to make it bumpier, but it's not necessarily exactly where the bumps are supposed to be. You can see that happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was when my wife and I were still dating, there was a museum in Baltimore that had I'm pretty sure it's just a temporary exhibit. They had like historical maps, and like apparently I turned to her and I was like, "You really do love me because I really do enjoy looking at maps." That was the best part of reading
Sounds like
fantasy novels. Sometimes was opening the front covers and looking at the map of the fantasy world.
So why did you sell your map? Or throw it out? Even worse?
Well, sure, I don't know. No, I keep other maps, like, because we have other ones where like it shows like, I think there's one that probably shows something with Native Americans or like the dwindling population of the buffalo, like things like that, like something more than just like old countries. I guess I find more interesting of like, or like ancient maps.
What's your favorite type of projection?
I don't know if I have one of those, because you're talking about basically like, yeah, is everything at the top and bottom like look weird or?
Well, I bring it also for a couple of things. One's like what the Mercator projection is like notoriously bad. I think
there's the one that looks like you basically look like you peeled the peel off the earth too. There's one.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be better, but I think I can't remember which one it is. But on Twitter over the past couple of days, there's been a common tweet that's like Africa's never-ending war against bad projections or whatever, and it shows that like the width of Africa is like, I don't know, 7,000 kilometers. Does that sound reasonable? Something like that, maybe.
That's a lot of kilometers, but okay, I don't know. It's possible.
It's some thousands of something miles, kilometers, who knows what. And then like the width of Russia is like 6,000 or something kilometers, and yet if you look at the map, Russia almost always looks like twice as big or twice as long as Africa does. Because of the projection, because Russia's
Russia's further, it's further north.
Like Russia's big, but it's like not nearly as big as most of the map projections make it look.
Yeah, I guess I don't have as strong. I don't have any skin in the game like that to complain about one versus the other. Like I guess, yeah, to me aesthetically, like whatever that projection is, which it does distort things, but where it's something like you could hang up on a wall and it's not. It doesn't have to have like the things at the top be. Because that looks, at this point, that looks distorted to me if you see that. I know that's more accurate, but then it winds up looking more distorted because you're so used to the other version.
Well, it's just fascinating to me because it's like, it shows how much of a kind of Northern Hemisphere-centric view of the world, I guess, at least we have. I don't know if the rest of the world does or not, but because most of those northern continents get distorted to be bigger. I've also seen, like, look at all the things...
Why wouldn't the southern too, though, right? Like Australia is probably bigger than it, or smaller than it looks on that map too, then, right?
I think possibly because a lot of the southern continents taper down as it gets down there, so they don't get stretched as much. But I don't know, Andrew.
Yes, it's where the landmass is. The landmass of Africa that is so large is going out 7,000 kilometers apparently is closer to the hemisphere, so it doesn't get that projection at
closer to the equator.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, that's why I used Australia, because it's a pretty big landmass, kind of far south. But yeah, okay.
Well, I think there's also a picture of it, like, that shows what will fit inside of Africa, and like basically like the United States is like, I don't know, roughly the size of the Sahara Desert or something like that. Like you can fit the United States and like a whole bunch of other things in there. Andrew's giving me a weird look. Maybe
that seems a little skewed that it would fit in the Sahara Desert, but just
the continental United States, I should say, not counting Alaska. But
I also forget the Sahara Desert extends outside of Egypt, so I'm not being fair to the Sahara Desert either.
I mean,
which one are you more eyes wide on that, Andrew? The fact that I said that I think the Sahara Desert is the size of the United States, or that Travis forgets it goes outside of Egypt?
Travis's statement felt much more wrong to me.
All right.
Well, it's factually much more wrong.
So how do you feel with
what you said was factually accurate. It does extend outside of Egypt.
Yeah.
So it's just
subjectively it's accurate because it's what I feel. But I think Paul was trying to drag us back to the beer.
Well, it was before the alarm went off again.
Oh, I mean, spoiler alert! I'm not much of a fan of this one. I think. But I'm not. I think I forget what I did for last Pills. I don't think I'm a Pills fan. It has some sort of aftertaste that I keep getting.
It's a pill style. You're going to have some of that with the hops that they tend to use in the what will come through in pills. It is hoppier. than an American Pils. Has more flavor at 5%. It's doing just fine. It's nothing strongly compelling though. I think you would enjoy this if you like Pils, and if you're looking for something to try as your first Pils, I don't think this would be it.
Well, it's also interesting how you phrased that though. You said like, oh, it's hoppier, so it has more flavor. I'm like, well, I like hops. I just don't like how this flavor is. But, yeah.
Right. No, your flavor can come from hops in beer.
Right.
And this one is pulling its flavor from the hops.
But I know what you kind of mean. Like most Pilsners, I think we've said are kind of like you can kind of drink them and not realize you're drinking beer for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, I know I'm drinking beer when I drink this. It's not heavy, it's not super strong tasting, but yeah, it has that, I guess it's that aftertaste. It doesn't really taste like water.
It's the I think it's really the aftertaste that's hitting me. Yeah. I'll power through
for our 4 viewers.
For the internet.
for the internet. That should be our rallying cry, for the internet. So I decided to. I don't think I mentioned this previously, but we talked about anime to introduce to your kids, right? Basically, I took all your suggestions, discarded out of hand because they were all terrible, and I just went with my own, which was Slayers.
How'd that work out?
It's available on Hulu, and
I didn't know that was available on Hulu.
Wow, the original Slayer. All right.
Subbed on Hulu. The first season is available on Hulu with commercials.
So I don't mean to keep interrupting you. The subbed, not the dubbed.
I
Or is it an option?
I don't know if dubbed is an option, but it defaults to subbed.
But you want it subbed anyway.
That's what I want anyway. And unfortunately, my girls said that they wanted me to read the subtitles to them, so they're lazy. But it's fun. I get to have my Lena Inverse voice and my Gabriel voice.
I hope for your children's sake that your actual Lena voice is better than that Lena voice. It
isn't nearly like that now. One thing I had forgotten. So I remember that this was part of the Slayers thing. I had forgotten how prominent a part of it was that the jokes about how underdeveloped she was and how Gabriel thinks that she's just like a little girl.
Exactly what Travis said, right?
Yeah.
And
I warned you.
Too. There's a lot of hells and dams and stuff like that thrown in there too, and
whatever.
There's literally a whole 5-minute conversation in the first episode about how he's like, oh, I thought you were a beautiful woman with voluptuous breasts, but no, you're just a little girl. It's how do I read these subtitles? Unfortunately, my girls called me from having, and they call me on it whenever I say oh, what the heck is going on? They're like, he said hell. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Oh, I was say so they're actually reading the subtitles. They just want you to read the subtitles.
They just want me to do work, and they're fact checking me. They're like, fake news, Dad. That was not what he said.
Come on, Dad. She has small boobs. Get with it. We have small boobs. Come on. We feel her pain.
So anyway, it seems to be a bit of a hit right now. Honestly, my kids watch almost anything I'll put on the TV because if I let them watch TV. But yeah, I don't know. It's going.
So you ask for advice, you disregard it, you're gonna get the results you're gonna get. I'm gonna sit here and drink my beer.
Are they enjoying it more than Star Trek Deep Space Nine, at least?
You know what? Surprisingly, I don't think so. I think my kids have surprisingly been into Deep Space Nine. I have no idea why. Really, it's I feel like most episodes still kind of go above their heads. A lot of times after the episode's done, or even halfway through the episode, we'll pause and be like, "Do you have any idea what's going on?" They're like, "Nah, don't know." And we'll have to kind of explain it to them. And there's usually a lot of deeper meaning too. So
I forget what there were some, because we made a list of Christmas movies and specials and everything to watch, and there are some that I'm like, should we watch it? But then I'm like, you know what? Probably the objectionable stuff, they're just not gonna understand. But then some of them, we watched Santa Claus last year, and I'm pretty sure they've watched other stuff with divorced parents. But it's very much front and center in the beginning of that movie that those parents do not get along, and she's upset about Tim the Toolman Taylor and all that.
I'm sure we've discussed this before, but a lot of Christmas movies pretty much start with the conceit that Santa isn't real.
So that was another thing, is that movie very much starts with that, about like Judge Reinhold, who I can't believe that's actually, I can never believe that that's the actor's real name, but yeah, Judge, because he was the judge on Night Court, I think, and his name is, or no, he was the partner on Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, I was going to call you on that one because that judge is.
Yeah. Hey,
I know his name. You caught it, so I'm going to let.
But yeah, but he's like the mom's new husband. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, he's very much on the like, so Santa isn't real, and I'm like, oh crap. But I'm like, all right, now we have to finish watching this movie because the whole point of this movie
Santa's
is
real.
to show that Santa's real.
Mm-hmm.
So. And
that's how they hook you.
My kids better not be listening in. Andrews might be able to hear through their headphones. So.
Well, so do you guys have any kind of Christmas?
Andrew's not smiling at that. So.
No. He's like stoic, like I can't move.
All right, what were you gonna say, Paul? Now you're gonna drink.
Christmas traditions about like in terms of movies to watch. Like for a couple of years, I think it was amongst our group of friends, or some of our group of friends, Love Actually was the movie to watch, right, with friends. But like there's there's also like there's like the Peanuts.
So Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown Christmas is the one going back to my childhood, where like I think the copy we owned on VHS was like given away for free at Shell on a tank of gas. That's like how ubiquitous it was back then.
It's like the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt game cartridge.
But like now we have it on DVD. That's the big one. Grinch is another big one. So now we do
movie? The animated one.
Depends which animated one. We do still watch the very original with Boris Karloff, but now we also watch not the Jim Carrey version, but there was another animated version with I think Benedict Cumberbatch is the Grinch. Mm-hmm. That one's pretty good. We've been watching that one the past couple of years. We started watching what is it called? The Great British Baking Show I think is the name. They have a holiday. They have Christmas episodes. Yeah. We'll watch those. Yeah, I don't know. I wrote down a whole list. Like this year, we're debating like, are they old enough to watch like A Christmas Story?
Which that Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. I mean, there's
right.
For the most part, and I'm like, I don't know. They're not really gonna understand the lamp scene.
Well,
the whole like singing rah 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 is kind of not doesn't really play as well nowadays. But
yeah, there's nothing. I mean, even when he swears, like they don't. They just
they don't actually swear. But like we're like, we need to show you this movie so you can understand when you eat off your plate and we say, "Who's mommy's little piggy?" You understand we're not just calling you a little pig. Yeah. We're referencing a movie.
How does the piggy eat?
It's probably time. I will go with the simple answer on this one. There's really only one choice for me personally, and that is the.
No, that's Easter. They watch Passion of the Christ. I don't think I'm making that up either.
I'm sorry, I started this.
Muppet Christmas Carol. I like the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, that's on my list to show them. I think we've tried showing it to our kids in the past, and I think so far they've preferred Mickey Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Mickey's Christmas Carol is like 15 minutes.
It's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
I will say that those kinds of movies are a big part of my wife's family's tradition, but for me, it's really only Muppet Christmas Carol.
What about? Oh, sorry, Paul. I've been dominating. Oh, I was gonna ask. My wife was excited because I guess it's not new, so she's watched it. But there's also Muppets Letters to Santa.
No, I don't know this one.
So I would maybe look at that one. The one commentary I read on it, the caption was, "Doesn't Kermit look swell in a Christmas sweater?" So like, if anything else, you get Kermit in a Christmas sweater.
I mean, along those lines, I never quite understood the appeal of the Muppets myself, but I think Netflix has a Halloween Muppets thing or something.
It would be Disney at this point.
Oh, is it Disney Plus then? Yeah, maybe it's Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
They
have a Christmas special or something.
Well, there's one where they went to a haunted house, and
this was the one that came out like this year, where Gonzo recreates the haunted mansion.
Yeah, it's Muppets Haunted Mansion. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I watched the entire movie and I don't remember anything about it. I know it has like John Stamos in it. I think
it does for like one scene.
Okay. There you go. That's the seal of quality there. John Stamos. We watched last Halloween, 2020. We watched. There was like Star Wars, a Lego Star Wars Halloween, very, very tenuously related to Halloween. Like we watched it, and I was like, "This is not Halloween."
Legos Star Wars Halloween. That's
It was like
cramming a lot into the half an hour.
It was. I mean, it was, and it was more entertaining for me because I've seen all 9 episodes, and because those of like they had these portholes and they could go to all. They were going to all the different episodes. So like Rey was going back and like she got Luke from that, and she got young Anakin, and she got like she was just going to all the different episodes and like gathering all the good guys to fight then all the bad guys.
She is all the Jedi.
Yeah, and it tied into that terrible movies. But then the other snafu we had was, and it, actually, if you Google like kids' Christmas movies, this will still show up, and I hate that it shows up. There was a Toy Story Land That Time Forgot. I don't even know what the subtitle is, but basically it's only related to Christmas because it takes place on Christmas Day, and Bonnie takes the toys over to her friend's house, and her friend has gotten like this whole new set of like dinosaur action figures. That's where Christmas ends. And a whole bunch of like violent toy fighting goes on after that. And like we sat down on Christmas, we bought it for Bruce, and we were sitting down with the parents and everything, and then we were like, my wife and I were like, this is what do our parents think that we think that this is a Christmas show, because this is not in any way a Christmas show, but oh well, we bought it and we promised it for our son, so we powered through it. I don't know if we've watched it since. I think maybe we watched it like a couple times afterwards, but not since then. I've just tried to pretend it doesn't exist.
All right, well, have we all... Oh, no, Travis is still powering through. Oh, there he goes.
You time that every time.
What can I say?
All right. I think, yeah.
It's been gone for a while, so.
The aftertaste didn't go away from me, so... What was our other pills? I'm gonna turn around and see what it was. But...
I do not recall, unfortunately. It's been too many days.
This guy, the owl.
Oh, I kind of liked him. I remember that I gave him a thumbs up, and you guys were not so fond of him.
You know what?
Yeah, Paul's been on a thumbs down streak, I think.
I was just about to say, I feel like I should have the spreadsheet open so that I can look. I think that feels right.
You just told everybody we keep a spreadsheet, and everybody knows we're nerds.
They didn't already?
Yes, they may have just stumbled upon this episode, not known.
Well, what are we adding to the spreadsheet tonight, gentlemen?
All right, should we take the gladiator style vote? All right, everyone except Travis. 3, 2, 1. Oh wow!
All right,
it's unanimous.
You guys are right. So why did you guys not like it? Because you guys, I think, are bigger pills than me.
Bigger pills?
No, you're not pills. You're bigger pills fans.
Wow. I honestly, I think I had the same complaints you did. I mean, there was no kind of positive taste to it, but there was an aftertaste that was not really desirable. It didn't have a particularly good. I feel like a lot of times with the lighter beers, they smell and taste kind of crisp and refreshing, but this one was just kind of like, the bad mouthfeel at the end, and yeah.
I think that's my problem for like if it's supposed to be like a light and crisp beer, it had too much hop. That it was like it bit too hard, a little bit too hard for what I would want from a lighter beer.
So the thresholds that I've been using are: would I drink this again? And the answer is maybe. And would I buy this again? And the answer is definitely not. So given that it's definitely not going to buy some more, it's just not worth buying this beer when I can buy other pills that I enjoy more, including our Käuzle friend there that you showed off a few minutes ago. That was a better pills for me.
Oh, not this guy.
Right. Yeah. The Landgang pills is less good than our Käuzle. So it's unfair to a certain extent that this beer comes later because I've already drunk something that's better. If this had been the second beer in our calendar, I might have ended up giving a thumbs up. But here at this point, it's pretty clear it's a thumbs down. Again,
then you would have had to retcon your thumbs up to be a thumbs down. Then
I mean, just put a little Christmas spirit in it, and it will be fine.
Okay.
Give us some more alcohol, and it all goes away.
I'm not sure if a little Christmas spirit is like nutmeg or like vodka or eggnog.
It's rum and eggnog.
Yeah.
That's Christmas spirit. Make sure to put cinnamon on it. It actually makes a lot of difference to put cinnamon on it, I think.
On eggnog?
if you put vodka, I guess people drink vodka
Put some
too. But
cinnamon on the vodka.
if you put the rum and then the eggnog, if you put the cinnamon on top and stir it together, and without the cinnamon, it doesn't quite have the same kick.
All right then.
There you go. I should have brought that tip up top.
Yeah.
Only those of you who stuck to the end get it now.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you should watch the entire video, not just the first 40 seconds. All right. Anything else we want to add before we log off? All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to gently massage that subscribe button and just give a little caress to the like button if you enjoyed what you heard today. Can't stop the discourse.